which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects approximately 11% of children and almost 5% of adults in the United States. It is characterized by challenges in attention, impulse control, and organization. ADHD is not a behavior disorder, mental illness, or a specific learning disability. It's a developmental impairment that affects the brain's self-management system. ADHD is a spectrum of different traits, and all ADHDers can look a little different. In the United States, around 11% of children and nearly 5% of adults have ADHD. It is highly hereditary and not caused by things like eating sugar or parenting. The crux of ADHD lies in its impact on the brain's executive functions. These functions include crucial cognitive processes such as planning, organization, self-control, working memory, and decision-making, time management, focus, and impulse control. People with ADHD often live with disorganization, uncertainty, and difficulty managing impulses. The brain of an ADHDer is like a popcorn machine bursting with ideas, creativity, and energy to create. ADHD minds are here, there, and everywhere. ADHD is not entirely a disorder nor an asset. It is a way of being, a collection of traits based on the way the brain communicates. It can be dangerous or advantageous depending on how the ADHD brain is managed. According to Hollowell and Rady in ADHD 2.0, ADHD is a cluster of paradoxical tendencies. These tendencies are a lack of focus with an ability to hyperfocus, a propensity to procrastinate, yet an ability to be massively productive in a short period of time, impulsiveness and talking out of turn, with a combination of creativeness and out-of-the-box thinking, a lack of interpersonal awareness, yet a massive ability to feel other people's feelings, and a supernatural gut feeling. The brain works through signaling and connections. Neurons talk to each other in a coordinated and specific way to form thoughts, movements, and feelings. Networks of neurons light up to allow for attention and focus to perform tasks. In a typical brain, these networks of neurons fire when needed and shut off when needed. Neurotransmitters do their job to keep the brain focused, motivated, and able to shut down certain areas of the brain to move from task to task and to stay organized. Brain scans called fMRIs show different circuitry in people who have ADHD. Different pathways light up that affect the ability to focus and switch from task to task. People with ADHD have trouble switching from the default mode network, the daydreaming or ruminating part of the brain, and the task positive circuits that keep us focused on the now. Both brain circuits compete with one another. It is this malfunction of the switching between the brain networks that allows for creative thinking, but also causes negativity and self-criticism that makes those creative pursuits get abandoned. The competing circuitry sabotages the enthusiasm, leaving many unfinished projects being trapped in the tortured artist or in a state of despair. The DMN, which activates during daydreaming or lack of focus, is more than often engaged in individuals with ADHD. This constant activation can lead to a constant struggle to stay focused on tasks and a tendency to get pulled away by unrelated thoughts. Sometimes when caught in the default mode network, people aren't sure that they did something, so they check and check again. Did I turn off the stove? Did I lock the door? When you're stuck in the brain's DMN, you aren't paying attention to the task, so it makes it difficult to remember. This same network can put you in a tailspin about an off comment made by your colleague, or cause you to catastrophize and envision the worst case scenarios. This network can cause a person with ADHD to ruminate, overthink, and get into a negative thinking spiral. It is thought that the switch between the brain networks in ADHD is faulty. For some people, it can be like having a race car brain with a bicycle brake. Deficits in attention and executive function networks can impact abilities such as organization, prioritization, planning, and goal pursuit. Changes in the network connections between the prefrontal cortex and other areas of the brain can result in distractibility, impulsiveness, and forgetfulness. In ADHD, dopamine gets reabsorbed too quickly, lessening the amount of this neurotransmitter acting on neurons. Dopamine plays a critical role in motivation and reward. So having less dopamine impacts motivation. It makes getting started more difficult and also impacts the ability to feel pleasure and rewarded throughout the day. ADHDers are more likely to seek out pleasurable activities and stimulation in life because of this deficit in dopamine. ADHDers are in fact chemically wired to have more difficulty feeling comfortable and pleasure in certain situations. As you can imagine, this leads to inattentiveness, impulsiveness, and hyperactivity, 3 of the major symptoms in ADHD. People with ADHD seek rewards and stimulation to increase dopamine. So, dopamine-seeking behaviors are the classic stimming, conflict-seeking, looking for novelty. Exercise is a great way to increase dopamine, which can increase feelings of pleasure, focus, and attention in ADHDers. ADHDers tend to be thrill seekers. They're excitement driven. They can be creators, inventors. People with ADHD are dynamic with a unique set of different traits. Boredom is their kryptonite. The ADHD brain is a unique and intricate system influenced by wiring, chemicals, and network interactions. Understanding these neurological differences can help us navigate the challenges and unlock the incredible potential within. Self-awareness is key to unlocking strengths and working with the difficulties the ADHD brain presents.